Claremont serial killer Bradley Robert Edwards has failed to lodge an appeal against his murder convictions or his sentence. Edwards has been sentenced to a life term with a minimum of 40 years for murdering Jane Rimmer and Ciara Glennon in the 1990s. Court officials confirmed no appeal had been lodged by the Wednesday deadline, signalling he won't be challenging his jail term. WA police have vowed to keep investigating the disappearance, though, of Sarah Spiers after Edwards has been acquitted of her murder. And a new investigative documentary will examine the longest-running and most expensive criminal investigation in Australia's history, the Claremont killings. It's been getting a lot of attention lately. Joining me live now is journalist Steve Pennells. Steve, good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. So what are we going to learn?
Well, we're going to go through the case. So this is the longest-running, most expensive criminal investigation in Australian history. A lot of cases that go this long, they've been cold cases, they've been re-looked at. This is 25 years now. In June this year, it'll be 25 years since a macro task force was set up to find whoever was killing these women in Perth in the late 90s. Yeah. And it's cost $61 million the investigation so far. The trial last year cost $13 million to jail him. He was jailed late last year, sentenced to 40 years. He'll get out, I think, when he's 88, he's eligible for parole. But, unknown.
Unlikely.
He's going to spend the rest of his life in jail.
Yeah.
But, there was a fear that he would appeal. The signs were there. He applied for legal aid funding but didn't get it. And yesterday was the deadline, so at least the families can breathe a sigh of relief that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you've done so many investigations in your career. What do you make of the story, and what do you make of him?
He is an enigma. I mean, this investigation, there were 900 police going through this task force, investigating this case for more than 2 decades. He was never on the radar. They had their eyes on other people, but Edwards just wasn't there. He was just hiding in plain sight, to use that cliche. And we don't know much about it. I mean, he got away with it for so long. What we do know now, joining the dots, which you'll see in the documentary tonight, is that he did have a pattern, a life of crime before that. Before these murders, he seemed to escalate. He started when he was a young man, a teenager. He was attacking women in Huntingdale within a 1 kilometre radius of his house, wearing women's underwear, attacking them brutally, and then he escalated to rape and then to murder later on. And tonight, in the documentary, it's anchored around the experiences of one of these women who survived his attack, a woman called Liz Kirkby, and she's extraordinary. I mean, her name was suppressed in the court, and she applied to have the suppression lifted so she could tell her story tonight.
Yeah. How are they doing, by the way?
Look, she's, I can't state how much admiration I have for this woman, for what she's done. I mean, I've worked with her for several months over this, building up to this point of the interview. And as you can imagine, it's a difficult thing to come out and relive experiences. But in her case, I mean, she was a young mother. She was attacked brutally. She got over that. And then she moved on with her life, got married, had kids. And then a couple of years later, the police knock on her door and say, by the way, we want to talk to you about that attack all those years ago. And also, we think the person who attacked you was the same man who went on to murder these women. Yeah. So the trauma that she's had to go through again because of that, and also the court case. I mean, she's had to go through all that, and that's just brought on more trauma. So as as a victim of crime, as someone who's gone through the court process, she suffered a lot.
Okay. All right, Steve. Well, thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Talking about that, I look forward to watching that. Welcome to the team.
Thanks, Steve.
Catching the Claremont Killer, the untold story, premieres tonight, 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. AED, 5 p.m. AWSD, and 8 p.m. AWST on Sky News on Foxtel.